Emil Briggs, Director General of Foreign Ministry Austria, and at the moment President of UNIC, of this network of European National Cultural Institutes. We are in our network constantly discussing multilingualism and coming up with, I think, quite interesting idea. First of all, there is an old-fashioned concept of national cultural institutes providing language courses abroad. The British Council is doing it, the Austrians are doing it, the Germans are doing it. We are not sure whether this is really so old-fashioned. So it might be worth investing and looking again into the concept that these national institutes do provide professional, possibly even enlarged language instructions outside of their own country. This is a positive participation in our discussion on multilingualism. So we would actually recommend to look into the question whether this might be something policy-wise which the member countries as a whole should consider to invest more in language instructions in their cultural institutes abroad. And the second thing we are discussing is we cannot talk about multilingualism without talking about translations, literary translations, and where we see a minus in Europe is really common investment into translating. It is a scandal that the European Commission has to translate tens of thousands of acquis communautaire in all languages and discussions of political contents, but not literary works in Europe. If I am right, there are only a few books every year from each country translated through common European money. I checked for the Austrians, and there was one book a year supported, the translation, by money of the European Commission. And this is not acceptable. And I think this should be a very strong part of what we recommend policy-wise. Thank you.
The reason I asked Emil also was to speak, or I mentioned UNIC in general, is because, of course, language training of the continental European languages, French, German, English, even some other languages, Spanish, of course, are actually done by the Cervantes Institute, the Goethe Institute, the British Council, the French Institute. It's their job. Is there any coordination of this language training being done by UNIC? If I could just a follow-up question to Emil before, and then I will pick up. I see that it's good that there are many people engaged. We have one.
If I'm very frank and open, there is no coordination. And we have to, no, well, there is coordination on the ground level. But there is no coordination between the member countries on this.
Okay.
And I have to say, we experience there some sort of renationalization of dialogues to a certain extent. I'm not mentioning individual countries now of the European Union, but there are countries which invest more and more only in their own language, and they're not interested in cooperating and in multilingualistic attitudes. Give you one example from my own country. We try always to be on the non-Germanic side for obvious reasons or not obvious reasons. So we joined as observers the Francophonie movement. And some other European countries did not understand why Austria joins the Francophone countries. And we said we join it because we want to support within this organization the multilingualism there and the aspect there of discussing plurality of languages as an important element of any organization which comes from this part of the world in the field of culture. Okay. But this is difficult. Yeah. And there is a neighboring country to this country where it is most difficult at the moment.